one last item I wanted to touch on, which was scheduling. And so if we go into light manufacturing and we pull up a production order again, and we pull up a work order that's here, and we go to our labor non-stock, you'll notice that here we actually have an operation start time and a stop time that's gone out and calculated. We have the ability to schedule labor. And what's going to happen, you're going to notice that these operations here are now scheduled to start on 12:15. And they're basically going to end on 12:15 because they're only a few minutes each. However, why are they starting on 12:15? Well, they're starting on 12:15 because if I go out here, I have a constraint right here. It's going to take 28 days for me to get this particular item from the vendor. And I haven't even purchased this item yet. So it's going to start, the clock starts ticking from now. If I purchase the item and I have a delivery date from my vendor in there, then this particular item will start. Now you can see this. This is sort of done by the system, but it's really not particularly conducive to being interactive with a user. So there's another screen that's going to be introduced in the scheduling, and it's going to be a screen that's going to be like this. I have my resources down here. I have the tasks that they're doing here, and you can see this is my utilization here. So you can see that in this point in time, I have John overutilized. So if I move some of these things around, you will notice that what I'm doing is, in this case here, if you look for Mike, which is about fifth from the bottom, you'll notice as I move this, what I'm doing is I'm now beginning to balance out my work because I have a constraint of only having 8 hours a day, but when I had that particular item moved around, I'm doing that. So what will happen is you'll basically move stuff around in your operation like this to get everything organized the way you'd like it, and then you'll commit this back to the system. And when you commit that back to the system, it's going to update these particular times, which it just happens to be where they're stored. But that will be how you'll be able to do the scheduling. So the idea is we'll be able to get you close just by doing a overview here. But the fine adjustments that you're going to have to do, really in the scheduling board. Now, we are going to have the ability, if you've got a hard date and you want to lock your material availability to some hard date, you'll be able to do that. And we actually have a dependency. If one operation is dependent upon another operation being finished, then it won't start till another. So say, for instance, you've got fab, so I've got welding and everything. Well, I can hardly say that painting is going to happen concurrently with welding. So what would happen is that painting would have a dependency on welding the welding operation being completed before it goes. So not very strict routing like you'll see in many different manufacturing packages where you have to basically assign a sequence that everything's going to happen, and that doesn't really work in a job shop or in a very dynamic environment. But what we can do is we can put that dependency in there, and you will be able to define those on the kit specification when you go. We'll add those fields that will say that, yeah, generally when we're building this, and here's our template, generally painting is going to come after fabrication. So that might be one case where you do that. So I'm sure
just two things. Our overall plan here is, we focus on the day in the life. So the sales guy comes in and says, hey, our most important customer wants this product, but they need it by the end of the month. Can we ship it? Or you're in the scheduling meeting on a Wednesday and accounting comes in and says, hey, we'd like to get out X amount of dollars this month. Are we in a situation where we can produce this many orders? Can we make this date and make our goal for $200,000, $500,000, whatever the number is for shipments this month or this quarter? And so interactively, you go back and forth between these tools that manage material and manage scheduling to give the individual somewhat easy to use tools to augment the human mind to answer those fundamental questions.